Smithy, have you signed up to the Ain't That Swell Billabong Bong Chron listeners list to get the potential voucher?
First thing I did after rubbing on out on RedTube this morning, Vaughan.
Awesome, man, yeah. So if you haven't done it, Swellians, get on board. Billabong are going to give away $500 worth of Bong Chron every couple of months for the next 6 months. So, yeah, you're mad if you don't. You just go to billabong.com.au/Swellians to be in the running. And, you know, I keep on coming up with these hypothetical scenarios where the Bong Chron's just going to do wonderful things for you, Smithy.
What's your new one?
My new one was, I was thinking, imagine just going into the, like, I don't know, the Coogee Bay Hotel.
Oh, yeah, getting a nice shit Sunday.
Post Origin decider, you just fucking load it up in your Bong Chron and all the meatheads just see you and they just kick the living shit out of you, but you fucking don't give a shit because the Blues got up, bro.
Get a 10-pack off the bra boys at the front door, get your shit Sunday, and then just scream at the top of your lungs, I bleed blue, before you get pounced on by a bunch of South Coogee housos.
I know, but you know what? I don't think you would get bashed if the Blues get up in an Origin decider. I reckon you'd actually probably get cheered or crowd surfed around the whole of the old Salinas there. Oh, geez, it'd be nice.
I'll be unreal.
Yeah, but Bong Chron, mate. Get on it.
Forno, look at this. The Patreon army, they're piling on. It's an old-fashioned pile-on.
Love it.
Few names to shout out here. We've got Andy Owens chipping in a $5, little Queen's head
Andy
with a
Owens.
pearl necklace,
You
chucking us
weapon.
a little bit of loot on you, Andy. We got Mickey Gordon, the Flash. Yes, that's right. Tweed's very own via Penrith via the Chooks.
Sick.
Yeah, his career really went from strength to strength, didn't it? Once he got a couple of Uncle Nick's brown paper bags under his arms. Absolutely crushed it. Well played, Flash. We got Wade Vidal.
Love the Flash.
Throwing us 4 bones. I don't know how he got a skimp there. A little fucking short change. Just a buckaroo. Maybe he's on the US dollar.
Oh, we'll cop that.
Stuart Caddy, he sent us a message even. Cadsy Bra. Steer, Smiv and Deadly, fucking cheers, lad. I'm way up in Japan's Northern Island and tuning into ATS is something I can't go without. We get waves up here, but they're pretty fickle at best. So having the potty on the radio on the drives to the beach makes the journey all the more sweet. Keep it up, boys.
Stoked to hear that.
Arigato, the fucking Swellians.
Yep.
Stuart Caddy's chipped in a $5. We got Dan Jordan from NZ, the land of the long white
Georgie
cloud,
brah.
New Zealand, throwing
Love
us 6 New Zealand pesos. Well
What?
played. We got Michos de Menos throwing us $5. I don't actually know if that is the infamous gutter rapper from the inner city, but it could be.
I hope
If it is, go on your Michos.
On your Mitchy boy.
One more neck tat for us. David Burtwell, a $5. River Evans,
Birdie boy.
a $5.
Riv.
And there's, plenty more. So
Unreal, mate.
pile
Jeez, that's
on,
good
Swellians,
news. Thanks
chip
heaps.
in, keep the shenanigans flowing.
That's it, mate. That's all we need. Just a few buckaroos to keep the ship sailing strong and into the night.
Hey, well, first of all, I'd like to say, and I ASP are gonna find me, because I want to be a part of this fucking dumb wannabe tennis tour.
You know, I think they got his testicles so far up their mouths that this is bullshit, you know?
I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just thinking about having won the world title and hopefully trying to win another one someday. You just drop in and just smack the drop down, say bah! Well, I'll tell you, Stu, I did travel some humongous waves.
Oh, cast the table, please?
Oh, stuff looks good on it.
Not bad.
Ain't That Swell with Jed
And Vaughn.
Oh, those guys are back!
Get a haircut.
Yes, shredheads, waxheads, kooks and barneys. Welcome to Ain't That Swell, the radio show dedicated to cutting fucking sick, mate. I'm your host, the 2-time Gold Cone Peace Award-winning surf journalist, Scum Valley's finest himself, the punch-drunk pikey, the Sultan of psilocybin, the maestro of micro dosing, Smivi.
G'day, Smithy.
I'm joined here as always by my loyal co-host and friend, front man of the Goons of Doom, former editor of Surfing World magazine, Tracks magazine, and Waves magazine, Vaughn Rinsed Corn Deadly.
Hey. Hey, gozaimasu, Smithy.
Well played, Vorno. I see you're deeply cultured and you've picked up a bit of the local lingo from
That's
your
right, mate.
little jaunt to Japan.
Very true. Yep, went over there for Stab High. Was a real laugh. Had a laugh. A real good time, man.
Yeah.
It was a sick week, but we'll get into that in just a second, man. What I'm actually just back from is the Occy Grom Comp.
Yeah, it was
up on the
popping off
goal. It was
up there.
sick, bruh.
Little shred fest for the knee-high tackers.
Mate.
Ripping at the bits.
How mad is this, right? Like, when you were Groms, when I was a Grom, when you were a Grom, sure the same. Like, you only got your contest fix, like, in tracks or mostly in tracks. I don't think Surfing Life or Surfing World or any other mags did any comp reports. So you might have, that was me. And then in your era, maybe the first webcast was sort of starting to happen.
Yeah, the very first. Yeah. That's right. Sterling, Howard, and the gang.
That's right.
At Billabong.
The BONG CHRON.
Bloody standing in a few inches of water there, and the Chopu Tower surrounded by electrical cables.
Yeah.
Well played. Nearly died for the broadcast. What
It's
commitment.
true, mate. It's true.
Jeez, it was good though.
Oh, in those days.
Iconic events run from the most shoddy situations imaginable.
For sure, yeah. I was actually commentating a few of those early comps. The one at Chopes. And did I do Cloudbreak? No, I did Chopes, though, one year, and the whole tower was just shaking like a leaf in a breeze. There was no dunny, so people would either piss off the tower or just into water bottles that they had handy, which was a very dangerous thing.
It's risky when they're all kicking around your feet.
Oh, mate, let me tell you,
you can't take your eyes off the ocean because their set's approaching.
You could really tell who hadn't been drinking their water either. There was some fucking pure brown urine streams coming out of some of the judges, mate.
Whose piss did you drink for?
Oh,
who had the
mate.
most pungent motor oil tang going on?
Fully. Well,
who were the
I'm just trying to
commentators
think
in
who
those
was even
days?
who was judging back then. Maybe Perry Hatchett had quite a vicious stream. It might have even
Burn a hole in your esophagus, old Patchett.
Al Hunt out on the tower. Look out.
Mate, watch out for Fatty Al. Fucking hell. Talk about motor oil piss.
There was some, there was, I mean, look, let's just say, looking after yourself wasn't as a common a theme on tour back then as it is today. So
minimal mindfulness and,
Pretty wild
the
shit.
paleo diets were a long way off.
Yeah, but, I was sitting there commentating the under 12 girls final, right, between Paul Morgan's daughter, Everly Morgan, and this girl, Lily White, I think her name was, from the Mornington Peninsula. So these two young girls, so little.
Cold water little queens.
Like you could literally expect an albatross to just swoop down, get them both in one mouthful, get them down in one gulp and just sail off over the horizon. They were puny. And, they're ripping, man. They're ripping at it. But there's a crowd on the beach. They're surfing a CT venue now by themselves, by the way, not a soul in the lineup. And it's being broadcast, and the commentators are like Occy, Rabbit, Parko, Laura Eniver. I'm just like,
what the actual fuck?
What the actual fuck, dude? Like, how's that for your first experience of a big contest? It's actually like on that level. And the whole comp was like that, man. Like the performances were so crazy. I actually do love commentating those events like the Occy Grom Comp, like the Skull Candy that's coming up at Lennox this week, which will also have a broadcast. But they're just so cool because you get to see who's coming. You get to be a part of that little bubble of like the next generation, and it's just unreal, man. Like, Everly and Lily just ripped. They were so good.
Man, how crazy it's going to be to see the trajectory of Everly Morgan. Will she be like her old man,
Well,
Rinse and Corn at the depot, and
she will be.
Various other Mondo slabs in the zone down there on the south coast. I mean, she could be the very first purebred slab queen.
Yeah,
to really take it by the reins.
She's got the heroes. She's probably surfing with Summer Longbottom on that already. But, I mean, her old man, holy smokes, does not need any introduction in the Australian underground core lord scene. But, while we were commentating that final, Laura Eniver pulled up Summer Everly's barrels from G-Land. Like, get ready to have your mind wiped, Smithy. It's too much, mate. It's too much how good these kids are. But the under 12 boys, under 14s, 16s and 18s, just the level of surfing is so crazy. And even Crowy, Micro Hall, the great super coach.
Oh, he's there scouting, looking for his next client.
On the hunt. And he sent us a message from home just saying, mate, I can't believe these 12-year-olds are getting broadcast. Like, I can't believe they've got this quality you know, like sort of watching their every step. And you can kind of get cynical about it, I suppose, and go like, oh, it's too much too soon. But, man.
The Dane Reynolds philosophy of, sponsoring 12-year-olds fucking ruins everything.
Yeah, I don't know if I totally agree with that, just because, fuck, if you never get into, like, say you get to 14 or 16, the parents are, I reckon they're way wiser now. Like, the soccer era, the damage that causes, you can see it. Doesn't mean it's not happening. There's plenty out there. Don't get me wrong.
You only got to take a walk a few streets back to Skid Row in Tweed and see all the washed up former soccer parented pro surfing groms with needles in their arms.
It's
walking
so
around
true.
in fishnet stockings.
But we've seen it.
Working the whaling wall there.
Exactly.
It's a bad scene.
No, it is a bad scene. But I think we've seen, like, it's been around long enough now, the soccer parent phenomenon, where even in real time, you can see the parents who are overdoing it. You know what I mean? You can see it at the beach. And I reckon there's a lot of duty of care from other families and even the structures, you know. I don't think the HPC and Surfing Australia, Surfing Queensland, New South Wales, whatever, back in that sort of commitment to vicariously living your fucking missed dreams through these innocent minds who have no idea what they want to do with their lives.
We both spent plenty of time at the HPC, and the first thing you see when you walk in there is a big sign of an angry dad clipping his kid with a big red cross going, no, this will not be tolerated here.
It's true, mate.
It's well played. True. We got to set a bit of decorum. Gone are the days of screaming blue murder at your son for dropping the ball over the line or bogging a cutback.
Oh, mate,
it's not on.
Nah. You're not allowed to stand on the shoreline, like, actually ripping the belt out of your jeans, waiting for your grommet to come in and fucking cop hiding in front of everyone on the beach.
I said vertical, not lateral. Vertical. Bah!
Oh, yeah. Well, sadly, there are a couple of top-line elite, just below the qualification line freaks out there who are not living their happiest life because that sort of parental guidance. So everyone's aware that it's a fuck scene. On the back of that, these opportunities, imagine okay, let's just say you don't go anywhere with your surfing, but you had that experience of being chaired up the beach at Snapper, like 6 months before Jack Robbo or Katie Simmers or Molly or whatever is going to do it. And you're a kid at home and you're watching the elite surfers get chaired up the beach just like you did 6 months earlier. Like for me, I was just going, that is magic, man. And the other cool thing was some of the faces on these kids, mate, when they come in, they are so joyed out. It is actually the most pure stoke. Like if we could get the Petri dish going.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know.
Mainline that shit. Give me some of that pure stoke any day of the week.
Get the stem cells cranking, mate. You and I could be in a very lucrative little side hustle here, Smivvy. Grom stoke.
Oh, mate, that'll sell
By the
like
bottle.
hotcakes.
Couple of drops on the under of the tongue.
Fuck the CBD off. Give me some of that Grom stoke.
Absolutely sick comp. Billabong just did such a fucking great job with that thing. It's 18 years old now. 18, dude. It's older than everyone in the comp. And it's just cool. It's just the sickest weekend. They've done a really good job just grassrootsing their way back into these fucking, I don't know, like these early stage experiences where surfing is still completely joyful.
That didn't sound quite right, Vaughn, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And look, grassrootsing Groms all the way to the big leagues is,
grassroots and Groms in terms of like giving everyone a chance to pull on a rashy, have a surf, and have like Rabbit or Occy call your heat when you're just a tiny little imp. Doesn't mean you have to go anywhere. It doesn't mean you have to do anything, but you've had that experience. It's sick, dude. It's so sick.
Imagine
having
the grand Yoda Bugs calling you heat.
Fuck, unbelievable, eh?
It's a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, in fact, Everly Morgan.
And I will say this, Bugs, he ain't bunging on a single bit of energy for any of those heats. He is so invested, man. Like, you know it. We hang out with him.
He's a student, a scholar. He wrote the literal book. He will be immortalised in bronze statues and
coins,
various creeds and screeds. Yeah. Coins, I'd love to see a coin.
Well, it'd be great if Bugs actually was on the coins because he's fed that many into the Bricky's laptops over the years.
Absolutely. Least they could do. A bronze statue of him outside, Twin Towers there, or Twin Towns. Yeah, that's right. Just slapping them.
Yep.
Cleopatra.
Yep. You just go into Twin Towns, you watch Knowlesy put on the performance upstairs, then you hit the Bricky room.
I mean, there's that many fucking cryptocurrencies kicking around now. Surely we can get one in Bugs' honour.
Oh, I love it. This week, Smivvy, the Skull Candy. We're in Grom season in Australia, so if you want to watch pure froth, pure stoke and some pretty sick, competitive, I don't know, it's kind of like Chihuahuas going at it, fighting over a little chicken bone or something. It's really good shit. It's good shit.
It's good shit. And, various punters out there will get to see the next generation of people paddling up their inside, harassing them at deserts and
entitled little fuckwits, just ruining your life and your last chance at getting away before you fucking your
covered head to
arthritis
toe
kicks
in
in.
stickers, getting paid to surf and paddle rings around you. It's what a treat.
Yeah.
Get down there and support the next generation
That's
of
it, man.
wave-hungry little locusts.
That's it. Occy Grom Comp, congrats. Skull Candy kicks off tomorrow. Jump online if you want to watch some heats. Finger buns.
Stab High, Japan, Vaughan, you were there. Tell us what we all want to know.
Yep.
What was going on behind the scenes? Did you celebrate with a traditional Japanese bukkake party? Was it Miola, Itan, Ethan, whatever his name is, Osborne, Jacob Zeekley, and Albie Layer all just standing around some hapless geisha rubbing one out in unison? That's what we want to know. As an aside, is that why geishas' faces are so white? It's just caked semen of 1,000 Japanese businessmen?
I'm not aware, really, of why the makeup of the Japanese geisha is so white. I mean, that is a logical conclusion to draw, probably.
I read Memoirs of a Geisha, but they kind of skipped over the origins of their signature makeup. You were there. You got an eyeful, I imagine, of the post-event celebration party. What was going on?
Mate, it was pretty old school. The big parties went down in the days leading up to the event in Tokyo.
Classic.
A lot of crew got there early, sent it deluxe. Like, I saw some pretty burnt units on the way down to the comp. The wave pool itself, Shizunami, is about 3.5 hours south of Tokyo. And, we got a ride down there with this fucking absolute weapon of a dude, Shinya-san, and he was just fucking the king.
Fucking
Little
oh,
bucket hat,
Shinya-san.
full frother, just, so stoked to have, I don't know, Harry Bryant, Goodall, Dion, who else did we have in our car? Dame, Duma Farronford.
Wow, who's who of
Nathan
Lord
Fletcher.
Cone Fiend Degenerates? Nate Fletch.
Yeah, he was in the car, so we all got to know each other pretty well in that drive. But once we got down there, man, funnily enough, the mood around the comp was one of, like, this is a contest. Like, the last one I went to, which was in Texas, was just a full-blown party. Oh, I got to go surf, catch me waves and do a car. Yeah, sweet, I'll go out there. But there was a bit of stress around, man. Like, I think the mood around this event has changed just because there's so many more grommets around the site. And winning this thing is a big deal. Like, it's a fucking pretty big deal. Like, we've all seen what happened with Ladybirds, right? Like, all those Ladybirds, your Katie Simmers, Erin Brooks, Sierra Kerr, they all went there kind of unknown, and that comp launched them. And so now everyone's got eyes on it, and even the free surfers are dealing with, Julian Wilson being in the event and a couple of, like, big-name comp guys. There's a fair few Kiwi guys on there. And there's just this sense of, like, fuck, actually, this isn't a party. Like, I've got to represent our pathway and like sort of be legit about like what we're doing here. And so, there was a little bit more seriousness around the comp this time. Still fucking sending. Everyone was still getting on it, but it just wasn't quite as mad as the other time I went there.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of loot on the line for the winner.
$20K US, yeah.
Yeah, that's Mondo for an Aussie, particularly. And then you look at someone like Eaton Osborne, and his contract's coming up in a few months' time for Billabong. He gets the win, and that is a reason to compete. I mean, it is a well-viewed, highly publicised event, and you could see the difference in approaches. You Noahs and Hazzy B's definitely on the terps. You kind of tell that versus your Rasta Robs, who looked super, like, kind of strook and locked in, defending champ from Lakey Peak, and didn't go far in the event. Interesting to see what works and what doesn't. It's such a unique competitive format, so much pressure on one wave.
True.
And I mean, Eaton Osborne, the winner, backside stalefish to get the win, but coming into the event had barely stuck a punt or even tried one on the back of a couple of serious injuries. I read an interview with Stab where he was just really struggling to find any kind of form until the pressure mounted. He was really able to lock in under the bright lights and get the win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, I was pretty tripped out by the low percentage make rate of this event. It was really low. And I was talking to a few crew afterwards, and they were kind of going, they were a bit, I guess they were critical of the spectacle because, like, when people are making airs, doesn't matter what they look like, it's a buzz. Like, you fucking get up and about for it. I just feel like the nerves were kind of kicking in a little bit. I'm not sure how you fix that up, but the first wave of the whole event was Rasta Rob. He did probably one of the biggest airs of the entire thing. Greased the absolute shit out of it. And I just thought, wow, this is going to be game on. In the end, there was kind of like, there were plenty of highlight moments, but it was, I think the low percentage make rate did sort of play a little factor into just like the nerves. Like it just started to fucking wear people down a bit.
It was a trippy ramp, so it had that kind of weird hip in it that you had to get round to generate speed and then kind of recorrect your line and launch. Like that hip, when managed appropriately, gave you the full slingshot. The pop was insane.
I had a fucking couple of waves on it, and I found it's just first of all, you're fucking surfing in front of every single cunt at the comp, so you feel a little bit like your reps on the line, and that's me, who no one gives a shit about. Like, imagine if you are like an air guy and you're not landing anything. Like, you kind of start getting your tail between your legs a bit, I think. But in saying all of that, Smivy, the air section was so sick, dude. Like, it's actually, if you just get it right, if you time it right, you're on. Like, if you get too horny and you go too early, there's nothing there. If you go too late, it's actually super punchy. So you just got to get it bang on. And we saw, like, with the Ladybirds and Bottle Rockets again, there was no excuse for not fucking clicking it. Like, they were in full send mode. That little Chinese 11-year-old girl, Patty Zhu, is a freak, dude.
What's her deal? What's her story?
She's an Olympic snowboarder. She's surfing in the next Winter Olympics. She is just pure snowboarding. She hasn't surfed for a year.
She's in the Olympics?
Yeah, she's an Olympian snowboarder.
How old is she?
11. She's 11, dude. And not just that. She, I don't know who spends the coin, but she got something like 14 hours practice in the pool by herself or a couple of sessions with Mason.
I can tell you who's spending the coin. It's the one-party communist state
or
of China.
Or is it just the taxpayers who are just, eking out a little bit of nutrients out of the dirt before they send all their hard-earned up the chain?
Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of hype and infamy surrounding this Chinese baby formula, but if you're looking at Patty Zhu, get me some of that grease.
All that politics aside, though, she rips, dude. And, like, in the air, probably as comfortable as almost anyone in the whole comp. Like, she was clicking these backside ollies, and Dane Reynolds was just fucking it's like his eyes were about to fall out of his head. He was just going, oh, my God, look at her technique. This is fucking crazy. And when we got home, she posted a clip of a full rotator, which I put on the Swellian feed, that was just as good as anything you'll see in any top-level QE, like for her size and power, that was a turn that you wouldn't even see in regular comps a whole lot.
Did anyone get a word out of her before she was shuffled off and put in that transparent Kinder egg?
No, mate.
Not a word, not a peep.
She did a lot of surfing with Mason. She's super, super happy. She's kind of, I think she spent most of her time in America, so she speaks with an American accent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's not.
That's what I thought. I thought she was like a Californian-raised Chinese.
Yeah, no, she's not sort of wheeled in a box and then, crowbarred open by Chinese military, and then the steam all pops out and the lid falls down and she walks out to like the sound of marching bands and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's
what I was picturing.
She's well schooled. She spends a lot of time surfing in Waco, but yeah, man, far out. That blew my mind. But
so how did she learn to surf? In a pool?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, it's already happened.
I know, mate. The wave pool generation is upon us, Smivy.
Wow.
But general overview of the whole comp was just it was so sick. Like, Nathan Fletcher was saying to me on the drive home, he's going, man, he goes, this is a really good fucking blueprint for what pro surfing should be. He goes, like, how cool is it when you get to the contest site and instead of just corporate logos, there's fucking art everywhere. And there's music blaring, and it's fucking good music.
It's a mad spectacle.
You got all the surfers and all the crowd all mingling in like this giant big party scene. That pool is tiny, dude. It's the tiniest little stadium, which did give me fear, Smivy, because I was like, fuck, that many crew have turned up here, just torched to fucking ribbons.
Ugh.
The pool is like literally just big enough for Doinker to wash his nuts in. And mate, I was going, I'm surprised the whole field hasn't got pink eye when they drive back to fucking Tokyo from this thing.
When Wade cut his hand on his fin, I was really concerned. I thought, oh, mate, he's going to end up with some amoebic dysentery, hand amputation, perhaps.
Yeah.
Going to end up like Happy Gilmore's coach with a wooden stump trying to grease Staley's with a fucking or a hook or something. He was okay in the end. No infections reported?
No infections.
No
and actually, like I say, the pool was sick. The airs that did get landed, and a lot of like the non-makes were so spectacular. And just a sick event. I really felt like Stab did a great job of, they created their own broadcast too. So they're not using necessarily like the methods and the same old system that everyone uses. Because say you want to do a specialty event, you inevitably wind up sort of doing your broadcast like a WSL, but to obviously a lower standard because you just haven't got all the bells and whistles and team running around for you. But I think they did a great job, man. Like, it was clunky at times, and I know that they were kind of a little bit. I heard Mikey C and Stace talking about it. Like they were feeling like, oh man, we're so far below this certain level. I was like, yeah, but you got your own identity, man. Like you fucking feel like you're watching something completely different. Like that's how I felt watching it. That's how I felt calling it, and it was just a fucking sick spectacle. Yeah, I loved it.
Is the operative word there? If there was a drinking game for how many times the word sick was dropped, I'd be fucking Boris Yeltsin drunk. It was just a sick fest.
It was a sick fest.
Could be a few more superlatives added to the lexicon of the broadcast team.
For sure.
But all in all, a classic event. What was the go with, have to ask, Jono, the wet lettuce, on the live stream? There was this kind of meta being John Malkovich moment where he was chipping in and telling you to go to a ad break, and then you would go to an ad break. What was that meant to be happening? Were we meant to see that?
I don't think they were just trying a few different things to see whether
gag.
they could. Yeah,
it was a piss take. Yeah, I thought.
I
thought it was
for sure, man. And power to them. I just like chuck the ideas in, see what works and what doesn't. There's no consequence for
Mate, I'm all for it. Throwing shit at the wall. It's been the hallmark of both our careers.
Yeah, it has been.
And look at us, covered
flying, mate.
in excrement up against the wall. It's also covered in various bunch of shit.
Sitting with Dane and Shane Reynolds, like just talking.
Shane Reynolds?
Sorry, Dane Reynolds. Shane Reynolds and Dane
Dorian?
Dane Dorian, yeah. It was a fucking hoot. It was a real hoot, man. And I think another thing they got so right was crossing to the judges and just getting their take on things. They were articulate,
weren't they? Lee Wilson, not short of a spray for the competitive field. He fucking hates a double grab.
He hates double grabs. Power to him.
Did him and Zekley have a little bust up after? I mean, Zekley obviously an aficionado of various forms of tech double grabs. I liked Zekley's Madonna or kind of botched backside judo, whatever you call it. But Wilson was having none of it.
Nah, look, there was a few crew who got stinky nose at Wilson, not just at the comp, but online. I think he copped a fair spray from people who were just like, fucking, who is this cunt? Dane Reynolds backed him heavily on the broadcast. Just going, mate, this cunt fucking rips. Like,
oh, yeah.
He's one of the best aerialists in the world. He's literally recovering from a busted leg, one of the most horrific injuries from doing airs. So
I couldn't tell you how many full road oops I watched him stick into the wind on those Chungu rights.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So
maniac.
But that's just his take on airs. He just doesn't want to see him. Like, Dakota Walters, anyone doing corrupt flips, he fully just whiffed off those ones.
It's a little bit. There's got to be room for nuance. I mean, the rodeo's a double grab.
It is, and he didn't pay it. So I reckon. I just think it's not so bad to have your judges all have an opinion. Like, fuck, why wouldn't you? Like, they're all there to use their expertise and their subjective view of surfing to influence sort of like what they like to see and where they want it to go. They all are as clear as day about it. And I didn't see really any issue with it, but I don't know. I thought that was cool. I thought Dion was epic whenever he got on the mic and spoke. He was really clear about why he was choosing what he was choosing. And Nate Fletch was fucking equally articulate as well.
The Grand Shaman.
He just
absolutely ripping.
You couldn't argue, could you? You couldn't argue with what they were saying.
When the judges are 50 plus and doing full rotes in the pool, you're taking what he says with all the appropriate credence.
Yeah.
How good that guy surfs, the most iconic style, just boned out straighties, that skate. surf crossover. Oh, he's still got it, Nate
I wouldn't
Fletch.
be surprised if he did the most surfing the whole weekend
Wow,
too. Yeah, he was
course.
in the
Milking it.
morning, in the Arvos, if there was a break, he was just out.
How good is that?
Launching like fucking mad. Dion as well. Goodsy. A lot of the judges like fucking showed up, a lot of the competitors in the free surfs, but... Yeah, man. I got to surf with him. That was a buzz. There was just me, Dion, and Nate in the pool. Just fucking, he was giving me tips and telling me which ways to go and like paddle here, don't paddle there, and it was just filth, man. Fuck, it was cool. Yeah, loved it.
When you stand up, you want your feet to be not parallel. Get them all.
Yeah, oddest feeling, man. That wave. Hey, like there's no wave coming at you. It just bubbles. The water level sinks and the bubble rolls into the sinkhole. Madness.
Wow, that's trippy.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're riding. Sick pool. Yeah, I love that technology. I really think it's cool.
And sharing the booth with Dorian, did he fill you in on his peptide supplement regime? Fucking hell, the guy looks like just a stack of Y-bone steaks glued together.
He does, man, yeah.
Guy's jacked.
I didn't talk to him about nutrients, supplements, or any of that
Slater
stuff.
look like Gandhi on a hunger strike.
I know. I was looking at a vein in his arm and I was thinking, fuck, that thing is way girthier than you know what, Smithy.
Yeah.
BD's hose. Much girthier. So I was like, fuck, he's got a vein in his arm. Thicker than my hose. Jesus. Anyway, yeah. One of the low points for my experience.
Yeah, when you're comparing your hose to veins in Dorian's arm, you're not hiding to nothing.
You taste.
Yeah, and DR, how's DR? Was he in good form? How did the jet lag treat him?
Yeah, he just he seemed to be really happy. It's funny with DR, like, you know, I would say like I'm friends with him, acquaintances. Like I've known him long enough and interviewed him enough times to see him and be like, yeah, you go, mate. And he sort of just cruises on his own program, loves to fucking chug his beers and sat in there genuinely frothing on what he was watching. So I just felt like the takeaway really was sitting with those guys was that they were really stoked. Like the people who are usually the loudest cynics of stuff or love to tear it down if they feel like it's not quite up to scratch, we're all frothing. So you got to say bravo to Stab, man. Like they fucking take a huge risk. That's a massive spend. I don't know what Monster's kicking in for it, but it's
humongous spend.
The amount of staff they got to get over there, the amount of like just organisation to get that thing on and to pull it off the way they did. Fuck, I reckon they should be doing 2 a year at least.
Yeah, such a sick event. Amazing spectacle. So much colour and culture and punk ethos back into the surf mainstream. It's sick.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Zeke.
Oh,
just
what a
on
character,
Zeke, mate.
dude.
I'll say
Absolutely
this.
ripping, by the way.
Fuck,
polarising figure, but undeniable.
His pop is as good as anyone
Yeah,
on earth.
I didn't
in the
realise.
pool especially. Yeah. He gets so high. He's so creative. He had beef with Noah and Chuni on the way over there, like social media call-outs.
Really?
Yeah, well, that's why Chuni caught away for him in the final.
Yeah, okay.
But the reason was they got there and they realised that this guy's, he's got a huge front, but it's actually who he is. Like, he's fully a fucking mad cunt. And they just loved him for it. He won everyone over at the end of the comp, mate. Like, there was not a soul there. I didn't hear a single person slag him off by the end of the comp. They were, like, fully on his side going, mate, why wouldn't you be yourself and be different rather than just get in there and, I don't know, flex because you think that's what you got to do or whatever. There's none of that with that dude.
Mate, he's an unapologetic surf punk straight out of the Christian Fletcher mold.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, Southern California is a soft, gentrified neck of the woods, and maybe in other parts, more blue-collar bastions when you get around being super obnoxious and giving people the what for, and you can't hold your hands up. You get punched into humility.
Yeah.
And maybe that is the little bit of a cultural kind of schism between the Australians and Zeke there.
Yeah.
But, mate, I actually just love a guy who's an unapologetic heel, just spraying everyone, throwing his OTC hand gestures out, and fucking ripping. His surfing's undeniable.
Yeah, true. And, if you're getting props as a person, as a human being from Harry Bryant, I reckon you're doing all right.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't loved him.
And what else do we have? Mate, I guess my favourite part of the event had to be Mason's judo.
Yeah.
The thing was so poppy and clean and boned out.
Oh, and extended. Like, he pretty much kicked his dot off, pretty much. Like, he put the leg so far above his head, he scissored the actual calamari ring straight off his straight off his body.
He looked
just
like
flew
an
off into
extra
the
from
pool.
Moulin Rouge. Amazing.
Yeah, that was my favourite area of the whole comp too, other than Aton's big backside Staley for the win. Because
Such an iconic grab, isn't it? The Staley when
so
mixed in
good.
with an air reverse. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
highly technical. But yeah, they were kind of. There was a European competitor, I think he was on Red Bull, doing the most popped, fucking super jacked air revs.
Glazer? Leon Glazer?
Is that his name?
Yeah, he's
Never
huge,
heard of him.
But not
Big
the
man.
prettiest things, but
So
fuck, he was big. So big.
It's such a QE kind of maneuver. They were also poo-pooing the air revs a little bit. They wanted the technical grabs and some new school maneuvers. But that was sick, seeing Madonnas, judos. What else did we see that was kind of
the best surfer in the event, who never really showcased what they could do, but is, I think, the most technically sort of gifted surfer of anyone doing airs right now is that little Raji, I can't remember his last name, Masuda. He's the guy doing the Japan airs where you tweak your knees down, indie nose bones, like airs that we've never even had to really think about naming before, and he's got them on lock, dude. He's going to do stuff and really change the game, that kid.
Cool
and
creations.
he's so young. He's like not even 15 yet. He's awesome. And the other takeaway is just watch this name, Tia Zabrowski, man. She didn't make the final. She is she was in the final, but she didn't get her score. She's amazing. Like, she's doing power airs in that Reynolds-esque sort of like just hucking it to the wind with pure technique and style. I wouldn't be surprised if she's like competing for world titles in the next few years. Tahitian.
wow.
Sick surfer.
Interesting. What part of Tahiti do you know?
Yeah. Chopes.
Wow, so she's learned on that little lagoon wave doing punts. I mean, where else are you going to be doing
Yeah,
punts?
exactly. And she charges. Her technique, like, it actually even made Katie look a little bit like behind the eight ball air-wise.
A Tahitian punt freak.
Yep.
That is so random.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah, you get an insight into the future when you go to these Stab High events. Fucking fully back them over. Still in finger buns.
The J-Bay specialty event scores big time.
Wow.
It's pretty much cooking. The world's most iconic point break surfers at all-time J-Bay set to an Afrobeat soundtrack. How can you go wrong?
Filth.
Amazing.
Love that.
I think Sally Fitz, the Giroa grip merchant, put it best after getting the invite. The most exciting thing is that we're always in competition mode, striving to be better. And to be asked to just come and surf and put on a show, that means more than you think. She then said, it feels like we're being seen, and it's a long body of work. It's been over 20 years since I picked up a board, it's been over 20 years since I picked up a board, and these days I'd like to think of myself as a hybrid car model. So I do a little bit of the tour, a little bit of the Challenger Series, and then a specialty. I'm very efficient and economical, so I'll come wherever you want me. Now, it's an interesting analogy, a hybrid car model. I think she's selling herself a little bit short there, Vaughn. I think she's much better than some Korean-made piece of crap. She's an old-fashioned...
Gutless Prius.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be taken to the wreckers in 5 years' time. I think she's an old-school XH V8 pedal van with all the grunt in the world.
Yeah.
A gas-guzzling, endlessly chugging, Aussie-made Geelong car plant creation.
For sure.
I mean, it's all relative. Like, maybe what they lack in efficiency, they gain it once they're on the highway.
South Coast girl, mate. Surely on the weekends when the surf was shit, she was driving down in a Roomba to do fucking doughies in the car park or any one of those little South Coast towns down there. Nowra? Is that the other one? What's the one that's fucking just south of Giroa?
Nowra's the one that's full of junkies and pensioners.
Yeah, that's the one. Nowra. Yeah, get down there and just find a high school to do some doughies in. That's the Sally Fitz I like to think
100%. Yeah, and
getting around in some freaking little tinny thing that you can't even hear when you kick the engine over.
Mate, I'll tell you, when I have a head-on of those things, I don't even notice I've hit them. When I'm in my pedal man, I just go straight through them.
God, she's funny.
But
what a hideous teardown of her own career at this stage.
Comparing yourself to a hybrid?
Fuck, what about comparing yourself to like a battle horse, like some scarred up battle horse who's just been on the warfield for years and years and years and just can't be shot, arrows sticking out of your body, arrows sticking out from between the ribs, and you just can't get knocked down. That's how I think of Sal.
Is it some self-deprecation to avoid tall poppy syndrome, likening yourself to a Korean hybrid? If you say, oh yeah, I'm like a V8 Sandman panel van, you just hear a bunch of Australians just going, oh, turn it up, Fitz.
No one would say that to Fitzy, mate. No, I don't know what it is. Isn't she actually sponsored by like GWM?
Well, that's what I was wondering. Whether it's a little discreet plug.
Oh, it's a fucking plug, dude.
It is.
Good on you, Sal. Fucking keep on selling yourself out, rah.
Cash for comment. Well played.
I back that.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck.
She's
do what you can to get paid, mate.
Get your loot. Yeah, it's hard out there.
Fully.
But yeah, I mean, who should dominate the event, Vaughn? None other than Josh Kerr. Surfing's everywhere, man. Presumably enlisting the Wazzle Learjet for him and his daughter straight from Nias Express. Dropped off at Supers there. Absolutely flaring on the 20. Just the guy's read on hollow waves is peerless, bar none. He is so amazing at reading double up lumps of ocean and just putting himself right in the spot for roping chambers.
Yep.
Interesting.
Around the world in 80 cones, those two.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just on the endless cone off. Like aside from Solly Bailey this year, surely those two are the most well-travelled cone humans on the planet.
Mate, absolutely. So slotted at Nias, and then the footage of him getting off the Wazzle Learjet, it was like Cheech and Chong, just smoke billowing. I mean, there's only one way to travel 17 time zones between contests, and that is high as a kite. Conathon. But, you need your parents to show you how it's done. Alfie, showed you how it's done.
Oh, for sure.
My mum showed me how it's done. It's all about responsible consumption of the sacrament.
That's right, mate. And look, when you're pulling, when you're on the, just make sure you let go of the shotty just before you finish. You don't want to be having all that smoke in there. There's techniques to these things, Smithy.
Techniques,
it's the Australian way.
There's levels.
So,
other standouts.
Yeah,
Steph Gilmore, obviously. Just those perfectly timed zaps out of the top, hands, a cumber. Mikey February, though, for me, was pretty much unbeatable. Just never looks rushed. He's so buttery and smooth. His read on the joints, unbelievable.
Two takeaways from that, Smithy. Haven't been away with Steph just recently. Like, I felt like she felt relieved to be in a jersey. Like, she surfed so fucking good over there. It was on the little birch. What are those things called? Pickle ticks or toothpicks?
Pickle forks.
Pickle forks or something like that. She just looked so happy to be cruising. There was no consequence, but it was her safe space. So I'm so curious to see how she can tap that without her ashy on, because she fucking rips, man. I've been going through the footage on this search trip we just did. It's looking pretty fucking good, but she just looked like she was on another level over there. I liked it. I really liked what I saw. And Mikey, hard to top a bloke who's put that much time in out there. His whole style is crafted by those sorts of waves. And, so sick.
Ultimately, though, it was Sarah Bound, the Saffron-born redhead, Newcastle-based goof that got the win. Shades of Chelsea Hedges, near flawless backside biomechanics. It's always a treat when a goof gets raised on right point breaks. Chelsea obviously spent a lot of time at Snapper. Ando even did a lot of time at JB growing up. I kind of grew up the road there at PE, Port Elizabeth. And who was it? I think it was Steady Freddy Meat and Potatoes Moraes who got the win in the men's division, the thruster division. It's interesting. It was a little bit incongruous to see these QE lords talking about the required score and grinding out a victory at this Afrobeat scored that's kind just of cosmic groove event. But
it's the downside of these specialty events is that if you chuck in someone who's at the top of their game, like on that cutting edge, dealing with the competitive, like Freddie missed the cut, right? So he's in that headspace of, I've got to get back. I want to, he's just, everything's fine-tuned to win the heat. Like, that's where his whole life is. So it's going to be almost fucking impossible to beat that sort of crew. Bormy's the same. She's on the Chang. So, it doesn't surprise me that, whenever we have these sorts of specialty events, it's usually like a top end cue grinder who gets it over the crew everyone wants to see surf. Like the footage I saw of Ock over there is like, remember that heat that he and Curran had years ago where Curran got a 10?
At Bells or
at J-Bay?
I was there, yeah.
Yeah, man. And like Occy barely looked like he could surf at that stage in his life. He was having a full relapse into a dark space.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's fucking surfing better than he almost did back in the 80s when he was there, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how good he's surfing.
His timing is surreal. The way he buries the bottom turn, clubs it vertical, comes back down and just connects with that sidewinding energy. It's like in his bones to feel that energy and just clicks into another deep bottom turn and he varies the angle on each hit, snaps under the lip. Everything is just so locked in, lead-footed, and as clockwork as a fucking steel Ford manufacturing plant. Stamp.
And man, he's been sober for it's between 5 and 8 years now. Like no liquor has passed his lips, and he is as sharp as anything.
Not a drop of that sweet, sweet amber.
That inner, what would you call that? That intuition, like that body memory. It's so sharp, man. Like he's so fit, and so it's just when he's taken off on waves, the brain is still as free as it's ever been, but his body is what's the mind body soul alignment that we were talking about with Taylor Knox.
Oh, yeah, the 7-pointed chakra system.
They're
flaring up purple, green, pink, blue, the works.
It's just going boom, 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 ding.
Feature.
Occy's just on fire, man. Even hanging with him up the coast, I was just going, look at you. Look at you, bruh. You are a specimen at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know what his secret is, but I'm tipping it's got something to do with those dreadlocks.
They're thick, mate.
Oh, they're thick and they are full of earth.
Yep. Speaking of another thing that's way girthier than Forno's hose, those dreadlocks are fucking thick.
And, so much is made about Slater's longevity. Obviously, an incredible performance at the Tahiti Pro, and we'll be looking forward to what he does at Cloudbreak. But, mate,
party record at Cloudies, eh?
Look, that whole generation, from Occy to Dorian to Slater to Nate Fletcher, all of them as a collective breaking new ground. And I think, Slater's probably the thin edge of the wedge, and they're watching what he's doing and going, wow, well, if Kelly can do it, I'm not giving him all the limelight again.
Yeah. The funny thing
Give me
is,
a crack.
It's going the other way too, because crew who were inspired by Kelly's, health and fitness, like the Ockies and the Tom Carrolls, and, like Tom was always fit and committed to fitness, but he had to pull in, obviously, like the emotional trauma and all that sort of thing that came from years of being having an addictive personality. But, yeah, it's spreading all out, and it all comes from the GOAT, man, I reckon.
Grant Twiggy Baker, Ant-Man.
Yep.
It's kind of an endless list of maniacs in that category, and even like going down a little bit to your Greg Longs. Like, that guy is so at the top of his game, getting the filthiest orbs. Pete Mel. Mate, I don't know a sport other than golf that really has the kind of longevity that surfing has. So that's an amazing thing for surfers all across the planet to realise. And I get the sense that surfing is as good an activity for your brain and body as any that exists. I've been listening to podcasts about longevity a bunch, and just what they suggest is getting this huge hit of intense cardio, at least like 2 to 3 times a week. But then on top of that, which, obviously surfing gives you that, but on top of that, it's challenging balance, various forms of fitness, core strength, and also your ability to learn new movements, react with high reflexes. It's such a technical pursuit that there's kind of endless little micro adjustments that you can make using something like WaveKey, which is such a sick program, a land-based kind of, what do they call it? Like land-based skills learning. It's an amazing pursuit, surfing, as long as you can take care of the body, avoid serious injury, and just keep your composure.
There's another element to it all too, because Tom Curran's turned 60 today. Happy birthday, Kerfuffle. When I interviewed him about longevity recently, he was saying, there's a lot about surfing that keeps you interested. It's healthy. You're constantly learning, so you're curious all the time. But he goes, but mostly it's fun. And I was like,
fun.
fuck, dude, that's actually so underrated. Like, not only are you getting all these benefits out of it, but you're fucking having a blast, dude. Not just your own experience of being in the water, but sharing it with your community and being connected. Like, all that stuff, dude. It's fucking... You can't underestimate how important and how healthy fun is in your life.
Oh, it's critical.
Crucial.
And big doff of the cap to the OGs, Nat Young and Skip Fry, still out there shrouping. I don't know about Skip. How's Skip going?
I
Is he
don't know
still
about
with us?
Skip, but I know that, Rusty Miller, who we interviewed just recently, out there every day, man. Like, in his torn up old piece of shit wedding.
Pushing Scandinavians into Scorpions and the Belonging Shorey. Well played, Rusty.
Georgie Greeno still out there on the mat at what he goes, like, fuck, mate, these guys are eternal.
Eternal.
But you know why? Because they're always having fun, Smithy.
That's so true. It's a critical point.
The health comes on the back of that.
Interesting, just back to J-Bay too. Good to see Josie Faulkner, our man, the slum raised son of a gangster, front and centre, getting the props he deserves.
For sure.
And pulling one of the turns of the event, a Skit's backside rotor. Interesting too, D'Souza in the mix there. Obviously a winner in 2012 out there claiming 4-foot pits in a specialty event. It's interesting. I mean, yeah, look, just for me, hard to get behind that guy, Vaughan.
You've gone sour on him.
I've been sour on him for a while. Yeah, I can remember. I'm surprised he's getting call-ups. I guess having been a previous winner, he gets
he's back on tour. He's coaching Leo Fioravanti.
Right.
Yeah.
Mate, he's such an interesting character because the last time I was in J-Bay, I can recall him fading this township kid mercilessly, just ripping off 4 turns in his face as the kid's just at the bottom of the wave. I think Dylan was his name. He's kind of Ace and Micro's protege.
Oh, yeah.
Sponsored by Billabong, absolutely ripped. This was after the world tour that had the run of the joint for 2 weeks. The comps ended, and he's still out there fading local kids from the township. I was like, fucking, who is this cunt?
Smithy sour on Susie.
Yeah, bit sour on him, bit of a fucking nerd. But I used to try and spray me a bit when I was covering the tour too.
Did he? He's a bit of a, he's living in his own bubble for Susie for a long time.
Kind of claimed he was from the favelas in Brazil, and he wasn't really as well, I think that didn't really stack up.
Yeah, okay.
Don't know about the guy, mate.
All right.
Sussing him. Claiming 4-foot pits, though, on the special event. That's what really got him on the nose. I was like, what are you doing, mate? There's a fucking tiny little pit at J-Bay, and you're still waving the hand above the head looking for the score.
That's the way.
Rest.
That's the way it is these days, Smithy.
Fair
It's just
dinkum.
the way it is, mate. I actually said to Rabbit during the Grom Comp, I was like, were you much of a claimer back in the day, Bugs? And he was like, oh, no, mate, no. You didn't claim back in my day when I was a Grommer. You would have got fucking bashed. He reckons they would have been waiting for you on the beach, like the older guys, if they saw you claim away.
MP would have just been spitting on his knuckles and rubbing them.
Nah, not worth it. Not worth it. The juice was not worth the squeeze, Smithy.
Indeed. Rest in pits, Tamayo Perry.
Yeah.
Pipeline icon, a staple of the Smithy household growing up. He was, on the Rip Curl search back in the day with Mick Fanning and Dane Beaver and Davo and the rest of them. He was on a high rotation, blowing up one of my favourite films. Tamayo just parked in Macca's Cone after Macca's Cone, but ultimately made his mark at the Pipeline where he was an icon, an enforcer, and mate's still getting thoroughly throated well into
He was
his
the
40s.
pipeline surfer. Like all the crew in the tributes that I've seen, the heavyweights of pipeline surfing saying that he was the guy, for a while there. Even the Matt Warshaw Encyclopedia of Surfing entry, well worth reading. A couple of bucks, throwing Matty way. It's a resource, Smithy. We all need it. It's a good thing to have our culture just locked into this hub, but he wrote a beautiful thing that sort of really does illustrate just how good he was at pipe, like sitting deep inside, waiting for the ones, and just, an awesome surfer. Deep connections with Australia. Spent Australian wife a lot of time in the Northwest, really, really close to a lot of West Oz crew. And, mate, I think he spent time on the Goldie as an extra in Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, like he was, he got around Tamayo. He was just much loved. Best friends with Jack Johnson growing up, so that's been a big loss for Jack as well. I mean, whenever a Hawaiian passes away, man, it really echoes throughout because everyone in surfing, from a certain point upwards goes there. and you just connected to everyone. Like, that's just how it is. Like, you kind of inevitably meet these people. But the time he spent in Australia obviously had a huge impact on a lot of people. Even one of the little Groms, Ruby Berry from WA, I think that's her name. She gave a shout out tribute to Tamayo in her win. Under 16 girls, man. So far reaching, really lovely guy, incredible surfer, just shocking to a shark incident. That's heavy.
So graphic. East side of Hawaii, Oahu. That's where he's from originally. And yeah, mate, the waves there, they're good, but they're pretty far offshore too, which the closer you get to the shelf, the more you open yourself up to tigers. That's their zone. Bethany Hamilton obviously got done surfing a similarly offshore wave. Pipe obviously closer into shore, a lot safer in terms of sharks, but you forget that about Hawaii. Those kind of Polynesian islands where they're really close to the shelf and it's just a fucking abyss off the back of those ledges. It's pretty tiger shark related territory, mate. And
it's just so sad, man.
It's so awful. God damn.
Just
fuck.
I think it's definitely sent shockwaves through Hawaiian surfing and even further reaching than that. So I mean, all you can say is far out. What a beautiful life. A life spent traveling waves. Got to experience that sort of chapter where you're just getting paid to get barreled, which he clearly loved doing more than anything. And
pretty good at it.
In light of the tragedy, it's a life that I feel like a lot of people are able to celebrate because it was full of so much fucking joy for surfing, man.
A North Shore lifeguard as well.
That's right, So a lifesaver, it's
imagine
heavy.
how many he saved. And obviously narrowly avoided death at Pipeline when he copped that board in the head, scalped him by all reports. And among all the takes on his passing, I love this one from our man, Cliff Capono, Dr. Cliff Capono, on Instagram. He wrote, "How close were you to Tamayo? Well, the swell was really north, maybe a bit too north for sunset. Thinking all the heavy locals would be elsewhere, I opted to paddle out. The current was strong and sweeping down the point. Before I knew it, I was caught taking set after set on the head. Something to be expected at Sunset Beach. What I didn't expect was to see was a tiny dot of a human fly down the point from an undisclosed location. A goofy footer with a helmet on. He wasn't pumping, rather performing a calculated high line. With precision, he dug his heels into the upper region of the wave's crest. I did some of my own math and calculated we would eventually cross if I kept my own line. I had a choice. Change direction and paddle into the white water, only to get smoked to shore after 15 minutes of straight paddling, or run like a rat to the shoulder. Without hesitation, I took the cheese and thought I was in the clear. I made it out the back and figured the surfer was unhindered. Winded, I made it back to the lineup and I hear roaring coming from the inside. Who the fuck was in my lane? I already knew. Shit, I thought to myself, that's fucking Tamayo Perry. God damn it, you rat bastard, Cliff. You know better. As he sprinted towards me, I did what any 19-year-old Hilo boy would have done. I sat up on my board and braced for impact. As he got within feet of me, he looked in my eyes and asked if it was me. I told him it was in fact me and that it was my fault. Calming down, he paddled right up and took his helmet off. He showed me his scars on his head from nearly dying just the year before and proceeded to yell at the top of his lungs, "This shit is for fucking real out here!" He put his helmet back on and paddled away. Over the years, I would share waves with him at other reefs, one being a slab that was lost to the lava here on Big Island. I never asked him if he remembered me being that kid, but I always had a feeling he knew. That's how close I was to Tamayo. Close to getting an ass beating. Rest in power to a great teacher for so many, including myself. We truly lost a fucking real one. Yeah, so not afraid to set Groms straight, and it was interesting seeing some of the comments down there. Sheldon, Picaro, and Moana Jones Wong saying similar stories of getting fully checked by the pipeline, great. And you need that at Waves of Consequence.
You need that in your life, man. You can't just be fucking walking around, you know, thinking that everything you do is someone else's fault, like, or not your fault, sorry, to be more specific. But, yeah, if you get checked by someone who genuinely wants to avoid anyone else being in that scenario, it's not about necessarily just their shit, although that one does sound particularly... Look at these scars, motherfucker. But yeah, no, that's real cool. I think that if you're sharing the wisdom and it's not coming from a place of just being a straight up fuckwit, which, you know, in Australia, you're dealing with a mix of the two a lot of the time. But yeah, I don't know, man. Fuck, it's sad. I'm so devo for just so many people. I wasn't close with Tamayo. I'd maybe met him a couple of times, but so many of my mates are devo. So hate seeing that. I hate feeling that. It's awful.
And he was actually quite religious too, wasn't he? He was a full Christian. So, generally a level of decorum and respect for the youth and just respect for old-fashioned values, that they're not going to be fucking on the ice pipe, freaking out and just behaving like a psychopath. Nah. So, yeah, you can imagine why he is so respected in that neck of the woods, just for setting that level of decorum and a barometer of... Yeah, just fucking, this is how it is. A native Hawaiian to dominating pipe, that's always a good thing to see.
Yeah, it is.
When the true locals are running the show.
R.I.P.
Exodus. Oh, yeah. Movement of the people. Vaughan, there's been a mass exodus from vans for everyone with the last name Florence.
Yep.
They've all jumped ship to Big Brother John's company, Florence Marine. That's now Ivan and Nate on the Florence program. And if you don't know, Florence Marine launched in 2020, a $12 million startup, now just called Florence, and it was born out of John John's departure from Hurley and his vision to create quality surf gear.
Yep.
I think he had a bit of help from Bob Hurley as well. And, sick gear too. Just practical, sun-safe stuff that you'd expect from an albino raised in the equator. Love those hooded rashies. Yep. He's even got the kind of long john pant legs just to avoid getting absolutely scorched and turned into some giant walking melanoma during your Indo jaunts.
Yep, he's a porcelain baby, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. And, amazing. Just an insane story. When you consider, I was reading one of Derek's old ones about the Florence clan. Just a crazy apocryphal surf tale. Single mum, Alex Florence, raising 3 kids on the breadline after the old man, some deadbeat scarpers, ends up in the clink. She's renting her home, renting floor space to travelling core lords. The kids are sometimes eating cornflakes for dinner, but they've always got pumping waves on the doorstep. And, they're just absolutely doing their best to survive and thrive on the North Shore of Oahu. And she just did an incredible job. And now look at him on the absolute top of the surfing pile. John's got these killer labels. Yeah. 2 brothers are surfing for it. They got money. They've got security. And, the way Nathan in particular gets around the world, how he travels. I was watching some of his clips recently at Greenbush, just mucking in with the blue-collar core lord cone fiends at Greenbush. He's just one of the boys, calling crew into waves. He's in the rotation. He's not paddling around.
Yep.
Just a genuine frother. He's got plenty of respect for the average Joe.
Yep.
The way they carry themselves, it's amazing. They're a proper... upholders of the surfing
I'm
code.
in awe of Alex Florence because she just got on with her life. Like, I don't know how she was able to do it, but clearly she just went, fuck this, I'm going traveling, I'm going to go surf, I'm going to take the boys to everywhere. Like, I first met Alex, John, Nathan and Ivan when John was probably 10 in Porto, Escondido, and he was just doing toe-ins out the front with Coco Nogales, fucking crazy. And then next thing... You're in California and he's surfing in the NSSAs, and then the next thing you're in Europe and he's there, and then she just never made any excuses or put any barriers around like what was possible being a single mum of 3 kids. So she just got it done, man. And now look at it, to be bold and to just take it on like that. Sure, fuck, man, not everyone can do that. We all know that, but for some reason, her attitude was just like, I just want to fucking go and live and get the best waves possible for these guys. She's a froth and surfer. When John was in utero, she cut a hole in her bodyboard so that she could catch waves right up till the day she gave birth. Like, shit like that, man. Just committed water woman and just loves to surf. Now she's grandma. So, yeah, bro, fully. So,
that's insane. I mean, we talk about corn rinses, clam rinses, placenta rinsing, uterus rinsing.
Full udo rinse.
That's insane.
Yeah, so, full props to the Florences. You got to love that they've just created their own world.
Such a tight family unit too.
It is, man.
They're happy, so much love.
Yeah.
None of the kind of hectic, drug-ravaged trauma that often accompanies absent fathers and that kind of destroyed family unit. Yeah, it's a rare success story in the world of single parenting. In my experience, it tends to turn out pretty bad if my inner city kind of friendship group was any gauge. Yeah. But, it just goes to show that the power of the ocean to heal and provide fun and purpose. And it's done it for so many people from these kind of fucked up backgrounds. And, it's a sad comment really on how expensive coastal real estate is now, that these stories are going to become thinner on the ground.
We're due for a housing collapse in this country pretty soon, aren't we, Smithy? It's unfucking tenable, mate. Can't keep going the way it's going. Something's going to happen. The revolution will happen.
Yeah.
Heads will roll, mate.
Yeah, we can only hope. The Olympics up next, Rinse Corn. Not
Can't
too far.
wait.
The very next big event on the schedule. July 26th, 7th to August 5th. And it's a 10-day waiting period. We're a little bit uncertain.
Oh, it is a 10-day period. Wow, they can pick the eyes out of that.
Yep.
Mad.
I did have the thought, though, watching Brazil and thinking about the Japan Surfing Olympics and how invested I was in the Owen Medina heat, and just that beach breaks are very good for sorting the wheat from the chaff, particularly at this level. And I just kind of wondered why they didn't just go to the south of France to hold the Surfing Olympics. I mean, we're in August. It's like September's prime time.
True.
They've gone to Tahiti, which is this far-flung colony with a tenuous connection to the motherland there of France. They've fucking destroyed the reef there. There's kind of some reeking karma swirling around here. And you know what happens when you anger the tiki gods, Vaughn. You only got to ask ELO. I don't know if anyone's heard from him. He might be sleeping with the fishes, but you get skunked. So let's hope that the tiki gods smile kindly on the Olympics.
10 days is good.
It is good.
10 days is very, very good.
August, still plenty of south swell kicking out of Antarctica. Could be on.
Oh, man. Yeah, look, I feel what you're feeling, but shit, man. I've done enough time in France over the summers to just know that fucking you can really dead set wind up with just dribble on the shore.
Yeah,
like
but we're in
they've called
winter.
off CTs.
We're going winter to spring. Plenty of swell. So the problem is more that wait, are we?
Pretty sure it's summer over there.
Summer. Yeah,
summer
August.
Olympics.
So it's the start of spring.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just
Bit of a risk.
Mate, trust me, I've like in all my years going to France, it was only in those later seasons, sort of Septembers, where you started getting proper waves. Like it's pretty classically fucked in summer. Like they called off CT events back in the day. Like I remember they got to the quarters of an event, just couldn't run it anymore, and everyone got the fucking same points. So that would be a disaster. I just, surely 3-foot chopes is still better than fucking 2-foot dribble.
Haven't been there for an event that was run in kind of 3
Marginal
to 4 foot chopes.
Garbage.
Oh, well, yeah. At that level, it's just not a good way of separating the world's best. Even in the 6-foot range, it's like at that level, they've all got the technique down for getting barreled on a ruler edge slab in that size range. And it just leaves the door open to it being a wave catching contest where you get in rhythm, you get scored. And we saw it happen to Jack Robinson in the Tahiti event. Like, that can happen where you're just not in rhythm and you're not on the sets and you get done by someone who's not really anywhere as talented as you.
No. But, I mean, the Olympics kind of has that a little bit of an element of Bradburyism about it. You know what I mean? Like some freak could just get it all right, have it all go their way and win the gold medal, and good on them. Doesn't really reflect that they're the best in the world. It's not a race. You're not going to be the first one over the line and everyone can say, okay, you're the fastest cunt who is alive on the planet at the moment. It's like, get it right on the day. Get it right, Smithy! Get it right! Get it right! But yeah, man, I'm fascinated to see just how this thing plays out. I was having a chat to a well-known surfing guru. Very, very nice observer of all things surf, and he told me on the weekend that he had a look at the betting odds for the Olympics for the first time, and he found that Ethan Ewing was paying $51. That's for $1 bet, you get $51 back. Dude, that is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't care how many fucking experts are in that draw. That is insane that he could be that much of a long shot.
If it's anything less than that 8 to 10 foot range, he's as good a hope as anyone.
Dude. Madness. There was do you want to know a couple of the other, just how the rest of the world, the betting odds are going? Sure. Not that I'm much of a gambler because I'm not, but Gabby's the favourite at $3.
Earned.
So John at $4. Ethan, actually, the last time I checked, had come into $25, but I fucked it. Still pretty mad. But Matty McGilvery, dude, like, if it's pumping, he's at $50. $1.
Insane.
$1 bet, $50 back. That's
doesn't
crazy.
make any sense. Yeah, he'd have to be ranked higher than Ethan, just given his previous
he's not.
Performances.
He's way out from there. Yeah. And then
the gamblers are idiots.
Exactly. Not that I'm telling you to do anything with this info. I just find it fucking interesting. But Vahine is unbackable.
Yeah.
$1.20. So, like, for $1 bet, you get 20 cents back. It's fucking mad. Insane. And then the Aussie girls, Molly's at 7s and
Not
Tyler's
bad.
at 9s. So, that was pretty interesting. And then Taddy and JoJo, both proven Pacific heavy reef surfers, are even further out than that. Oh, no, they're at 750s or something. So
that's crazy. Taddy is surely, apart from Vahine, got to be the second favourite.
Yeah, fucking madness, man. I'll tell you, it reeks of the good old days of when betting first came in on surfing and no one knew. Everyone just looked at comp results and just threw out the numbers based on that. And a few of the boys cleaned up. Smithy, don't worry about that, bro.
Yeah.
Driving around in Lamborghinis at the end of that year. Jeez.
Interesting bit of chat from Team USA head coach Shane Dorian.
What?
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, it's a bit of some tenuous colonialism at play, Vaughan. The American Empire just milking Hawaii yet again.
Yep.
Military bases, pineapple and cane plantations. Now they're just harvesting the surf talent. Come out of here. Shane Dorian, head coach. Carissa Moore, defending gold medalist, leading the women's. John Florence, another Hawaiian-born tube specialist who will be, obviously leading their charge. But this is what Dorian had to say. And obviously, he's got plenty of game in the coaching stakes, guided Ilo to a world title.
Good coach to have at Tahiti.
Oh, yeah.
Next level.
So some of the things he'll be giving his surfers tips on: getting a second opinion on where to sit, how to start their heat in the first exchange. Do I fight for the first wave or do I yield to the other athlete? There are a lot of different scenarios to run through. Been a little bit tight-lipped there, Dozza.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to give too much away.
No. And the USA, they've unveiled their mint get-ups. Pretty high-end polo-inspired Ralph Lauren stees.
Do we know what we're wearing? Are we wearing just stubbies, thongs?
Yeah, bit of culture.
Hat?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was wondering,
High-vis.
What about some OP or gotcha fluoro SoCal coked up Michael Thompson stees?
Yeah.
Get a bit of culture.
Bring the fluoro back,
bit of Sean Stussy, maybe.
That'd be so
What about
good.
surfers getting around in Ralph Lauren?
Oh, gosh,
Wasn't
they
he
do
some
look
Nazi
good.
or something?
They look. I don't know
that him,
Ralph
allegedly?
Lauren's story, but I know that. Who's designing our shit? Do we know? It's the boys from fucking
Mambo, is it again?
Mambo,
Here
you
we go.
guilty.
Paul McNeil, Ben
the
Brown,
farting-
Uncle Reg.
The farting dog on the lapel.
I Iconic.
That'd be so good.
And
Australian Jesus on the back print.
Oh, yeah.
The classic Reg bomb. That'd be so
Classic.
good.
And the heat draws out too. So round 1.
Yep.
Some of the big heats. We've got heat 3. Anat Laylor from Israel.
Yep.
Sanoa Dempfley Olin from Canada, and Tyler Wright. Looking strong odds to
Do we know?
progress.
I know, but do we know how Tyler's going? She's
we
just
don't.
disappeared at the moment, so we got to get to the bottom of that.
And heat 8, Carissa Moore, the defending gold medalist, up against Teresa. Hope you get the lot. Bonvalot.
Bonvalot.
And Matsuda Shino. Heat 1, Yolanda Hopkins, Portugal. Caroline Marks. Sarah Baum.
Bormy.
Front side of Bormy. Yep. Be interesting. And heat 2, Sol Aguirre, Yanire, Extabar. Sounds like a Basque surfer there in Vahine.
There's a heavy heat, though, isn't there? There's one with Molly, Katie, and someone, isn't there?
Yeah.
Taddy, maybe.
Heat 4 is the one. Tatiana Weston Webb, Molly Picklum, and Katie Simmers straight off the bat. There is a repechage round.
Oh, thank goodness for that. That would be a heartbreaker if you got done in that one.
And yeah, the men's draw, fucking stacked. Heat 1, Ethan Ewing and Geordie Smith. Heat 2, you got Jack Robbo and Maddie McGilvray and Joan Daru.
Hey, these are my 2 dark horses, Smith. Joan Daru and Ramsey Bookheim. Imagine a Moroccan gold medal in surfing, bro.
That would be insane.
Holy
And let's not forget
smokes.
O'Leary Zebras.
O'Leary Zebras,
surfing for Japan.
Oh, we'll take that as an Aussie victory, wouldn't we?
Brian Perez, our man, the double grab trough merchant. Trough man gets a start. He's in that opening heat with Medina and O'Leary Zebra.
Stacked heat.
Yeah, heat 7, Coley Vast, Luca Messinas, Griffin Colapinto. Oh, man, endless.
What do you think the chances are of a double Tahitian gold medal haul here could fully happen, eh? Doinka! How's that call?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a bit of heat around here?
It's
Is there a big
sirens.
Swollen puss somewhere next door?
There could be a dripping wet split eggplant somewhere. But
the big puffy mons.
Yeah, a Coley Vast, Vahine Fierro, double, both golds, going back to France. What a disgrace!
Yeah. Nah, they're not going back to France, mate. They're getting hung up in the airport as soon as you land. Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
I mean, we throw asterisks at the puckerist, Phil Toledo, willy-nilly, but I'll be throwing a couple of asterisks France's way and America's way if they pick up golds in surfing.
Phil in the draw then?
Oh, yeah. Phil's up against Alonso Correa from Peru and Kanoa Igarashi representing Japan in Heat 3.
Any word on Italy getting a start? Did Brazil win that?
Well, no, it's only Toledo and Medina by the looks of things.
So Medina got in, not Zhao.
Oh, I believe Zhao is in the mix somewhere. Where is he? Yeah, he is. Heat 5, Ramsey, Billy Stammen, the Anzac.
And
Medina.
Medina.
Zhao. So it's Zhao, Medina.
So that's
Toledo.
right. Brazil won the extra spot. I forgot about that. So Medina's in the draw. Far out, man. Brazil. Woo-wee. Hectic. I'm looking forward to the Olympics, Smith. Can't wait.
It's going to be classic.
Unders or overs?
Dane Reynolds' Chapter 11 surf store is getting bulldozed.
Gone.
Unbelievable.
Gone.
Gentrification rears its ugly head yet again. In the name of progress, the Chapter 11 store is getting torn down, but not without a final blowout sale, writes DR. Today through Sunday, everything in store is 40 to 70% off. Everything must go.
Yep.
Reminiscent of Bilesy's blowout back in the day.
Yep.
I mean, look, you name a core surf store, and I'll show you one that's been bulldozed by some greedy property developer swine.
But they're popping up like mushrooms all over the place.
That's
Me
it.
and Shauno were just talking about it. Like, Crescent's got like three just self-owned, old, ramshackle shitholes that got converted into surf shops, and they're going off. They're sick.
It doesn't take much, let's be honest, to start a little cultural empire there. Just
That's
a few
it.
coat hangers, a little bong scum back room there
That's
for
it, man.
the retail employees, a few bars of wax, and a board rack, and you're on.
That's it. Yeah, I reckon
Cheap fit out.
surely Reynolds will get this operation kick-started again in someone's garage or something like that, won't he?
Yeah.
Has to.
It's where Oakley started. It's where Stussy started. And it's where Chapter 11 will find its spiritual home in some Venturan reprobate's garage.
Yeah.
The spiritual home.
Yeah, it just all they need is a place to put down the giant Yeti or milkshake cup full of coffee that's filled with whiskey, and you're off and running.
But a massive under.
Huge under.
That's a disgrace.
Under.
Fawn, a poor bloke has gotten paralysed from the legs down at D-Bar after blowing the drop on a proper nug. Oh, man. It's just such a heavy and poignant reminder about how sketchy this game is. Johnny Koning from Kiwi land surfed really good, tried to knife one at D-Bar, didn't get the rail in and just got pile-driven into a shallow sandbank on a 4-footer. This is what he had to say. I just didn't make the drop on the takeoff and got tumbled around, covered up because I knew I was about to take a beating, and then, just impact straight onto the sand and came to the surface and knew straight away.
No.
Mate.
Oh, Johnny, mate, all the best, brother. Fuck, that's heavy. I don't know, mate. I've done it. I've jumped off a wave, didn't even think twice about it, just head first. Like, it was a closeout. I wasn't into the pit or anything. I just sort of straightened out, jumped off, and just hit a sandbank, ripped a giant chunk of hair when I had hair out of the front of my head there, broke my nose, 2 black eyes.
Wow.
Sort of stumbled up the beach just going, what happened? And next day I was lying in bed, couldn't get out of bed. I was like, oh, my God, I'm so fucked here. But that's how quick it is. Like, you don't see it coming. It's just this one fraction of time where your life changes on a dime, man. It's just, it's so terrifying. Fucking all the best, Johnny, man. Sending you so much love, brother.
Mate,
it's heavy.
It's often sand bottom waves that are responsible for these kind of injuries. It's often small sand bottom waves in the kind of 2 to 4 foot range, just awkward little descents into the trough that go pear-shaped, and it all happens so quick. Your outside rail hits a bit of chop and you just get slingshotted into the bank. Even this knee injury, I had the premonition that I was about to get absolutely poleaxed on my shoulder or head, and just like Johnny, I covered up, and I guess in a sense was fortunate enough to land like a cat on both legs. Still blew my knee out. But reading this story and the time I've had to sit and think about this injury, it's made me realise how much folly there is in trying to get barreled constantly on sand bottom waves. They're often portrayed as the fun version of surfing, dreamy little sand bottom pipes, but I think that's where most of the awkward wipeouts happen, and you're also a little bit blasé in terms of the consequence. And I this is my own take on it. Moving forward, I'm going to avoid sand bottom barreling waves in favour of bigger slabbing reef breaks, just because you're guaranteed of at least a shot at the exit. There's a bit more space in there. If you get the knife, the thing's going to hold its shape. It's not going to just flare and chandelier and spaz out. Like, we live in the land of shit pits up here in the North Coast. It's barreling 3 out of 5 days a week. But it's like a 10% make rate, I would say. Watching some of this big south swell that hit up here recently, you probably saw the clip, a bunch of crews stepping off and paddling, the Yeti getting the one.
The Yeti gets the one. He always gets the one.
Jai Glindo getting a mental one, and our man Keogh, the Ganella Bar chef, probably getting an even better one. But in amidst that, there was 1,001 volatile beatings on waves that look like Keiki shore break at times. And it just made me realise that, mate, sand bottom waves, they can't be trusted, Vaughn.
They can't be trusted. They're fucking sneaky sus cunts, mate. I'm off it. I actually love surfing hollow sandbanks. But you're right. There's just such an X factor because they just don't do the same thing over and over. And like, fuck, man, if I think back to some of the most horrendous just injuries that I've seen in surfing, it's almost always on sand, dude. Like if it's not direct contact with the bank, it's like your board getting flung around and fucking snapping into you. Like Parko's heel injury behind the rock and stuff like that, man. Just it's heavy. All I can really say is, if it's pumping, you're going to paddle out. Just fuck. I don't know. Just maybe be aware. Pay attention to that intuition. If you're feeling that vibe, just don't get your last one in. Maybe just be cautious and careful.
Savvy advice.
But I cannot stress to you how awful and sickening that story is, man. Like,
Yeah,
I just
man.
fucking, I'm so genuinely just sending out the vibes, bro. Like the healing vibes. Like I don't know.
Mate, another thought I had when thinking about Johnny's situation is that, you know, we're in a culture where we really celebrate and worship the chasing of cheap thrills and peak experience. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that, you know, really the real gift of life is in the more still presence, that form of joy and gratitude where you feel calm and happy with nothing, just with, you know, fuck, the way the sun is reflecting off the leaves and these things, they sound a bit trite, but when you're experiencing that for me, it's a more lasting form of joy, and it comes from a deeper place than this kind of adrenaline spike you get from getting tubed or whatever it is. And obviously, you know, I feel like we're sometimes leading people down a bit of a dark path on this program by overly celebrating and worshipping the Core Lord Cone Fiend Hellman. Because
I don't know, man. I reckon we got a good balance. You and I just froth because we fucking froth. That's the nature of the beast. I froth on a Friday arvo when I'm watching footy. I froth on lots of different things. But I get what you're saying. But I would say we equally celebrate the peace, the space between those moments. Like,
sure.
That's for sure. And Jerry Lopez fucking said it best, man, in an interview we did with him, which was, he was like, mate, and it changed the game for me. It changed my whole view of surfing, just especially because my old man wasn't surfing much anymore. And Jerry was like, mate, surfing is the bonus. Like, the actual fucking riding of a wave is the cherry on top of, like, how happy I am just being in the water paddling. Like, that kind of yodery fucking shit speaks to me, man, because the second you duck dive, the moment you're in the water, you are instantly better than you were fucking when you were on land. Instantly. And so all that thrill chasing and the high moment, like, it's part of it. It's like when you're fit and healthy and you think that's what you want to be getting, that joy. But do the Jerry spec, mate. Get on the fucking, like, appreciation in the moment business and you're frothing way harder.
And that'll be totally accessible to Johnny if he's listening, you know,
for sure,
through your breath work, through your meditation, through, you know, the exercise that are available to you. You know, we've seen the paraplegic surfing scene just up the road here at Byron. You know, prone surfing, you know, you're still connecting with energy. It's all relative. And I mean, we've all been blown out of consequential cones, and it's a feeling that never lasts.
No.
In fact, like an hour later, you can still be fucking feeling wretched. And, you know, some of the greatest surfers and the most barreled people on earth have been absolutely fucking miserable drug and alcohol addicts.
It's true. It's not funny, but it's true.
Yeah.
But I would say, man, we've been fucking trying to get Barney Miller on this program for ages, just because that beach access thing, you know, like, all you got to do is get in the water. It doesn't matter what your scenario is. If you can just get in the water, that's great. But, like, I think one of the big challenges is just getting down to the water's edge for a lot of crew who don't have the support systems or anything in place to get them there. You know, like, that's the next step. And it's something that's actually happening. So it'll be great to check in with Barn and find out where we're at with all this
shout
sort of
stuff. Shout out to Barney and Daz Longbottom. We've been trying to get them on the podcast. They'll probably be listening. Shit moves fucking slow around here, as you know. But yeah, two of the most inspirational humans.
Joss
in
Mueller
our
as well. She's fantastic. I reckon. And Mono. We've been trying to get Mono on since way before the Adaptive Surf Championships even happened. So we've got some work to do here, Smithy.
We do.
But we'll get him on.
Look, obviously an under. And shout out to Johnny, mate. Keep your spirits high and connect with that Gaian energy, because it's there in abundance for you whenever you want it. And you can feel as good, if not better, than you ever did as a surfer. So, and keep surfing. Stay in the water.
Exactly.
Vaughn KK gets year zeroed by the Waz. I can't believe this. This is a disgrace.
Yeah, there's so much froth and further around women surfing right now that it's almost completely just fucking put a giant wall up between the past and what's going on.
So, Kiala Kennelly, fucking whatever you call it, basically got completely forgotten in the froth-off for Taddy's 10, which got claimed as the first ever 10 at Chopes by a woman. So this is what the Woz had to say. Gee, shame on the Woz. Who do they think they are?
Who?
Pol Pot? Completely wiping over women's surfing history?
Is Pol Pot guilty of doing that in the past?
Well, I mean, not exactly.
There's not a mention of women's Vietnamese surfing anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Or Cambodian surfing or
Cambodian
elites.
That's right, yeah.
But, this is what they had to say. Despite losing to eventual event winner Fierro, Tatiana Western Webb made history today with the first perfect 10 ever from a woman at the Tahiti Pro. First ever perfect 10.
Whoa.
Let that ring.
Clear the decks.
Loud and clear in your ear holes, rinsed corn.
Jeez.
Hello! KK had one out here more than 2 decades ago and wasn't shy in letting the Woz know. I've seen all over the internet that Taddy's was the first 10. I got the first 10 back in 2001. I had to scour the internet to find one little article about it in a local Honolulu paper. When we got the contest at Chopes, everyone was rooting for the women to fail. The male surfers, the entire surfing industry. When we didn't, and we went out and shattered everyone's expectations, they just didn't want to acknowledge it and just brushed it under the rug. Now, 15 years later, after the women have been excluded, I'm getting very tired of the media diminishing the surfing legacies of my generation and other past generations. I recently had a history-making accomplishment of mine completely erased and bestowed on someone else, then spread all over the internet. Fake news, Vaughan. Fake news.
Fake news, yeah.
From now on, my first time in history accomplishment will be associated with someone else. I don't completely blame the media for spreading so much misinformation because of the systemic suppression of the groundbreaking first time in history things women surfers were doing at places like Chopu and Tahiti. It's a long sentence, didn't really make sense, but we'll move on. Yeah. It's almost impossible to find the accurate stories on the internet. In this video, I get into that, set the record straight on some things, and give credit to the women who never got proper credit for their historic accomplishments and some historical facts for the media. Well said, well corrected.
Can't trust the media, eh?
Nah.
Can't trust that media, especially the surf media.
Oh, it's a shambles.
What a fucking joke.
Bunch of bourgeois parasites eking a living
off
the grind of the likes of Kiala, Keneally, and just absolutely blown it.
It's not the look. You know, I don't know whose job it is to go back through and digitize all the old newspaper stories so that history is there and in black and white and plain to see for every single journo who is writing the story now. But surely the Woz has access to its own archives, its own history books, and can clearly see if someone's had a 10 before at a wave. Surely.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've been in the archives. You worked there. You were putting together a few packages, sifting through the dust-covered analog tapes.
That's right.
That have been stored amongst all the pornos in Fatty Al's basement.
Well, the funny thing is that if people were going through old Tracks mags, they probably would have found a contest report that mentioned that somewhere. Maybe 2001.
Who's doing their due diligence in there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jabbering Joe. Who should be on the case? Kaipo. Put him to work. Get him off the bonsoys.
Get him in the archive room.
Get him in the archives. Get him reading a few of Ben Mondi or Sean Doherty's Tracks magazine articles.
There's definitely a tendency in this modern age since the ASP to WSL transition happened where the ASP history is just kind of just a bit dodo-y. Like
classic year zeroing.
Like how can you, if you haven't got a digital archive, no one is doing the hard yards with the loop and the little lamp and just page after page with the tweezers of going through the comp results and the scores.
It must be done. I mean, if you
know, it has to be done.
It has to be for the good of our sport and the due diligence of the data and just the respect
of what's come before.
Of KK.
Yeah, because if you think about it, man, there's been women's contests held at Sunset since day dot.
Oh,
where are those
Cooper
results?
won 5 of the cunts.
I know. So, yeah, we need to get onto this, Woz. There's no excuses, mate.
Does John Flowers have Kelly Slater's foreskin in his knee? Does Gabby shave the bits of skin that none of us can see? If you drag your filthy cornhole down to the face of the old man pipe, Will sparks fly from it like a comet across the lonely night? Otherwise those judges crazy. Have they fucking lost the brief? Would chain her and take 50 grand over a lettuce leaf. The swelling seek answers, the prophets will oblige. So scarf your shoes and ask us a question. We will speak no lies. Ask us a question, we'll tell you no lies. Ask us a question, we'll tell you no lies.
Up fucking Swillians. Yeah, the Swillians. Fucking love Swillians, man. There's nothing better than just getting around, at the junior comps, bumped into heaps of the parents with Swillians. Got a little shout out from Atlas Zoric, the local Grom, Bunjalung kid. He just was like, up the Swillians during the prezzo. It was mad, dude.
You know what I love about Swillians? They've always got this weird waterlogged wonk to them.
Yeah.
They're always like wonky humans. They've got some very offbeat sense of humour. They've spent way too much time in the water and the sun. And, they're just always guaranteed characters with that tripped out slant on life.
Yeah.
Timothy Leary was right. Throwerheads of men.
They are, mate, and there's no greater throwerhead than the Swillian army. So thanks heaps for sending in questions. Thanks heaps for fucking getting on board with Smiv and Deadly. If you feel like chucking coin in the Patreon, go
that's
for
right.
it.
Now chip in your scabs.
Hey.
Smithy, first question here is from Tyrone Finnegan, who's just got back from a lap of Oz with his misso and is now setting off to WA via the desert of South Oz with some mates. He's
Why
on
would
a
he go
fucking...
there? That's a fucking waste of time.
He's on a mad rip, though. Tyrone. He's shredding. He's just wondering if we've got any trips planned to rural SA or northwest WA, because there's nothing better than just hitting the road to nowhere. What do you reckon, matey?
Oh, mate, how about you stop dropping...
Well, I mean,
fucking
he's just
secret
dropping
zones.
states. He's
No
only dropping
need.
states.
Yeah,
he's
there's
not
no
dropping.
need.
He's not
There's
dropping
no need.
actual locations on us.
Keep
Any
tight
plans,
lips, mate.
Any plans to go
well,
on a road
if I
anywhere?
did, I wouldn't be telling you guys. So yeah, do that one.
Keep an eye out for Smithy, mate. Smithy and Doinker on the road. I've got a hell one here. This is so good from Brycey Senior. I've always wanted to know the etiquette here. So, what's the appropriate level of grit and shit cuntness for your local board riders? For example, with the lack of priority, is snaking allowed and encouraged? Should you storm the judge's tent if they don't give you the score or even miss the wave? Does all surf etiquette go out the window in a heat?
It seems to be the case that it does.
Yeah.
But, I think like the general metrics of your local lineup apply, i.e., the hierarchy of propensity for violence applies here. Like, you might paddle around a Grom or some nerd who rips, who's potentially a pro surfer or a QE guy who can't hold his hands up, but you're not paddling around the local psychopath
No way, mate.
for a score. So it's basically your local lineup, but everyone's wearing jerseys. That's my take on it.
Oh, mate, look.
And as for storming the judges' tower, go for it, mate. I love
Fully.
seeing a blow up at the judges.
Get up
There's
there.
nothing
Yeah.
better.
There's like, Jimmy's mum is one of the judges, and the fucking the club treasurer who doesn't even surf's one of the judges. Then you got a Grommet who's like 13. You're up there going, get it right. The other thing is, like, I remember, man, when I was in Labar, we had a club round at the Point. This is old school Labar. I mean, it's a very different community sort of,
Yeah. Well, you can tell by the age. 'Cause
Institution
they're
now.
not having heats at the Point anymore.
No. But, mate, well, if you pulled in on a Rashi and there were free surfers out there, you just felt you had, like, free reign to just cook whoever you wanted because you had a Rashi on. Like, it was weird.
I feel bad about those days. Used to do the same thing at Bondi.
Yeah.
It's human soup, obviously. And
Yeah.
Mate, it gave us carte blanche, in theory, to make absolute cocks
But
of
when
ourselves.
you think about it, like, you're just part of some cliquey little fucking crew who think they fucking got, first choice of the waves because they've just got a fucking club comp on. Like, mate, these other cunts been probably in the mines for fucking 3 months, just trying to get a quick wave in, and he's getting dropped in on by 11-year-olds in the under-12s division. Nah. Don't know.
That said, though, it is the local community's day to shine, and you kind of do have to give the waves up for him. I just regret some of the shameful, threatening behaviour I used to carry on with.
Yeah.
Sorry, 21.
Well said.
Copped a blast
and
from Smiv back in
I
the
will
day.
say this, that the local clubs now, like, man, they're so big. They're like big community events, as you say.
There's like a tadpoles division at Bondi. It's bizarre.
I think they have to run them usually over a couple of days now. So, like, one weekend might be for the Opens, and then, the other weekend in the month will be for just the juniors. That's how big the clubs are.
Man, it's crazy.
It's mad.
Because when I was at Grom, my local board riders folded for like a year or two. And then when it came back, it was just run by this local degenerate out of his big red 1960s truck. It was like the most fucking disheveled degenerate fest ever.
Yeah.
And that guy's now a father with children in the tadpoles division and running this like super squeaky clean, politically correct board riders club that's turning over a GDP of $4 million a year. It's impressive. I don't know how they did it.
Mate,
but
my
they did
first ever club presidents was Jeremy Biles and Matt Smith at Newey Board Riders.
Wow.
Our tent was a half-ripped tarp that had a fucking bong in the corner. So, yeah, things have changed, Smithy.
Well, they have.
Hey.
Things have changed. This is from Gordo. Long time swelling. Probably one of the first, eh?
Yeah. Is it an icon?
On your saucy. Good question, too. Is Gabby not as feared by his opposition, like many past greats, as he previously was? Heat totals seem low at times compared to others, and not too surprising to see him lose out in earlier rounds. Griff, Yago, whomever, seem to regularly have his number. Do his opposition almost consider him quite beatable or an easy heat? Gab seems to be falling from grace or becoming overtaken. Big call. But to be fair, Gordo, there's definitely a little edge off Gabby's cyborg intensity. But I think it remains to be seen now that his back's against the wall where the champion will show up or not in these next two events, Olympics and Cloudbreak, because he'd be smarting from losing to Owen that bronze medal. Fuck, that'd be stinging.
Yeah.
And he'd also be looking at Cloudbreak going, this is fucking it. I'm no way I'm missing this finals day. The other thing is, I was just talking to Parko the other day and he was like, Gabby is the best Cloudbreak surfer who has ever lived. That's from Parko, mate.
Wow.
2012 world champ, pipeline master. He says Gabby is the greatest Cloudbreak surfer ever.
Mate, in roping or slabbing left pits, the guy just has so much sinew and muscle and energy and technique coiled up in his frame. It's like a video game for him.
Yeah.
He toys with it. We saw that at Chopes, how he was using the ledge as a springboard to just rocket from impossibly deep through those West Bowls. And at Cloudbreak, where, at times it's a roll-in with a purpose-built oop section, if you time it right. Mate, we're going to find out what Gabby's made of in these next two events.
Right.
He's been a little bit off the pace. He's, let's remember, he's on his way back from a serious knee injury. He's won, 3 world titles by the age of fucking 27 or something. So, where's the motivation for him? Brazilian surfing, it's not really built on these kind of Curran and Slater-esque sabbaticals where they go to the Ments and put incredible free surfing films together. So I don't know where his head's at.
I think this
needs
is the
a bit
most...
of Kinji. I think that was a good call.
He needs Kinji.
We've got the Olympics at Chopes, this penultimate Cloudbreak event. We're really going to get to see what Gabby's made of. It's going to be very, very compulsory.
I think this is the most crucial moment in his career in terms of like where he's at. Like definitely these next two events because John is so far out in the lead. You would imagine that him and John are literally the kind of the fusion ball that excite each other to bring out their best. I think even Gabby looks at Idolo and Felipe and is like, meh. Well, you've won world titles.
When you've got 3,
whatever.
come and talk to me.
Yeah, but I think John, the idea that John could have 3 at the end of the year is the sauce, dude. That's going to be the fucking major motivation. And the other thing is the Olympic gold medal because it's something that he hasn't got, and Idolo's got that. I don't think he wants it because Idolo's got it. I think he wants to fucking have one because he can't believe Idolo's got one and he hasn't. Like that kind of thing. Like the Olympics would be such a big deal in Brazil.
Dude.
It's a fucking crazy thing that he hasn't got one. So he's never had better motivation to bring out his best and to return back to the Gabby that everyone used to fully fucking hate. And when I say hate with respect, but at the same time, just couldn't figure out why this kid was just fucking destroying our heroes willy-nilly. Pretty cool, man.
Yes,
pretty cool.
So fascinating. To be continued. Watch this space.
Big time. All right. Well, I think we're just about done here, Smiv. Let's just see if there's one more question here. Yep. I think we're just about done here, mate. Oh, Jesse. Yeah, okay. Jesse sent this in. I feel like we might have answered this last episode, but I read it out again. He said same as last time, so maybe he didn't listen or he missed it. No, we definitely answered this. Nah, we answered it. Jess, go check a past episode, mate. Nah, Smithy, look, great to be back in the fold with you, man. Yep, as I said, Skull Candy on in the next couple of weeks. Check it out. Supporters of the Swelling, of course, the Skull Candy ANC Crusher 2s. How do they go on your melon?
Oh, unbelievable. Cleared the tinnitus right up.
The bass in the man, it's like Barry White. He's got his dick in your ear. It is that thick. So, yeah, go and check it out.
24/7 Barry White Bukkake party in your ear holes. That good.
See you next week, bro.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you kidding?